let's do some Watch This Boys. It's a lot, but we can do it because what else we're doing?
Sure. I watched Popeye today, the movie.
The Robin Williams joint?
Sure.
That's a great movie.
It is a great movie.
Is it?
The music is awesome.
Is it?
Yeah.
It holds up?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
that
I
Harry
remember
Nilsson,
it's
No, it doesn't hold
traumatizing.
up. It doesn't hold up at all.
that
Right.
Harry Nilsson soundtrack is baller.
Oh, that must be good.
No, it is. I really enjoy it, but the mix, the audio mix in that movie is so weird.
Well, that's because it's a Robert Altman movie, and
Yeah.
that's like an orator thing for him is to have overlapping audio, so it's hard to mix.
What are some big Robert Altman movies?
Let's see. It would be MASH is the one that I
Okay.
always think of first.
I don't think I've seen that.
You've never seen the movie version of MASH?
I mean, maybe I
Oh, it's
saw it
really
on TV briefly, but I never watched the
Check that
TV
out in
show.
4K.
Yeah, I think Nashville. The Player is Robert Altman.
I never saw that. I somehow missed all this guy's movies. I know he's like very famous.
Mhm.
I somehow missed every one
He's
of his
somewhat
movies.
famous.
No,
Well,
he
when I
was very
younger.
famous for like a decade.
Right. He doesn't
And
have
then-
I looked at his list of movies like while I was watching Popeye, and I went, okay.
It was he
I
flamed out.
think Popeye hurt his career for sure.
But Popeye's the one that stands the
But
test of
Popeye's
time.
the one that endures. I know. That's the irony now, isn't it?
It just came out on Blu-ray. That's why we watched it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, how's it look?
Oh, interesting.
It looks really good, actually. Like, if you were to look like, we watched the trailer for it on Apple TV, I think, just to see like, okay, kids, this is what you're getting into.
Right.
And it was like dark. It was like
Trash.
dark and muddy and everything. It was like you can't see crap.
Yeah.
But then we were watching the movie. It's like everything looks good.
Yeah. That's what I thought Blade was going to look like when I rented it. Even though it was UHD, but fucking looked awesome. All right, watch this, boys. So I watched this movie that I would recommend to Wombat. Shipwreck, you're out because it's on Netflix. American Murder. Have you seen that, Wombat?
No, who's in it?
It's a documentary that is unique though, because unlike other documentaries, this one consists of video footage that is all firsthand. So you're talking about security cameras, police body cameras. You're talking about not tweets, but social media posts, videos from social media, text messages, telling you this, laying out the story of the murder in a way that I don't think you've really seen before, and it was really well done, and perhaps best of all, it's like a tight 90 minutes, which is always like a big plus. Not a great test for a brand new 4K TV, but it's really compelling, and you're wanting to try to solve it while you're watching it. They do go back and forth on the timeline, Wombat. That may bother. Well, it doesn't bother you. It only bothers you in a feature film, I believe, Wombat. You've mentioned, not in a film like this.
No, actually, it's the other way around.
Oh.
Jumping around the timeline bothers me in a documentary.
Well, they do it in
but
a way.
tight 90-minute documentary, it may be okay.
Yeah, they're smart about it. It's not confusing at all. They put
It's when you're going through someone's like entire life, and they talk about what that person did in the 70s,
right,
and then they talk about what that person did in the 90s, and then they talk about what that person did in the 80s, and I hate that.
What if it's the Bee Gees?
The Bee Gees, they didn't do that.
Okay.
What about
the
if
Bee
they,
Gees
they
documentary
shuffled the songs?
The Bee Gees documentary is bananas off the hook, and everyone should watch it.
Right. Oh, yes. As the chat is pointing out, this movie is incredibly depressing. Like, I mean, on the 1 to 10, it's a 14. But, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's the way that they put it together, though, is worth it. And this guy, I believe it's the same director who made the movie Searching.
Popeye. Oh.
What were you going to say?
Popeye.
He said Popeye.
Not Popeye, no.
Sweet Haven.
Searching with John Cho? I forget the guy's name. John Cho? Is that an actor? Maybe?
Yes, John Cho.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Korean American actor, perhaps, or Chinese American actor.
from-
I forget. That's another very innovative movie. That's a drama.
From Star
That's
Trek.
Yes, That's a straight up film, and that was very innovative as well. That one takes place. It's all filmed from the perspective of a computer monitor. So you're reading emails, you're seeing like video calls, and that's another thriller. I would recommend both of those. Definitely the first one is less depressing. I'm Searching is less depressing than American Murder. American Murder is American Murder. There's no happy ending there, unfortunately. Wombat, have you seen, Chip, you're off the hook on this other Netflix movie. Have you seen Mank? I feel like that's a movie.
I do want to see Mank.
Right.
I haven't had the opportunity yet. I'd like
Okay.
to know what you think because I've heard mixed.
We liked Mank. Mank is the story of the guy who wrote Citizen Kane.
Mankiewicz.
And he's played by Gary Oldman, and he's an alcoholic in the movie. I mean, I guess
You know
in the
why?
story.
Because everyone in these movies is an alcoholic. Did you see Trumbo?
I want to watch that. It looks good.
Because I feel like Trumbo and Mank are the same movie, just two different people, but the same.
That's
damn
on Netflix
story.
too. I believe that's somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's on.
It is on Netflix. Yeah, I've seen that though. That I like Trumbo,
Yeah, Mank is.
and I
in,
just
Mank,
don't feel like I'd be watching the same movie again.
Mank is in black and white, and you're basically just watching Gary Oldman drink, and it has its moments. It wasn't Citizen Kane for me, but it was.
You
it
mean
was
it's not the
interesting.
Citizen Kane of Citizen Kane movies?
No, it wasn't. But he, obviously, like, you can watch Gary Oldman do anything. It was pretty good, I would say. Mrs. Chibi felt the same way. We liked it. We were glad we watched it, but I'm not giving it my highest recommendation.
Gotcha.
Another movie that I saw with Mrs. Chibi, and we watched.
How much did you watch in
this
the
is
last
over-
week?
Honestly, a lot of these are from over 2 weeks. I forgot.
Do you have any time to do anything
These-
else
some-
other than?
These are over 2 weeks, and what I started doing is taking notes so I don't forget to talk about things. So
That's
I'm being
smart.
very studious.
I could talk about The Big Bang Theory if you'd like.
No, thank you. We watched this movie, Vast of Night. This is on Amazon Prime Video. So, Shipwreck, you may be interested
I have to
in
pay
this.
attention to this one.
But
Okay.
we didn't really care for this one very much. It's like a
Perfect.
UFO movie in the 50s. There's like strange going-ons in the town, and some people think it's UFOs. Is it UFOs? Is it not UFOs?
That's
50s.
basically what the thought is all the time, right?
Yeah, and I don't know. It just didn't seem to really go anywhere. And it's PG-13.
So not UFOs.
I don't want to say, really. I don't want to ruin it.
I feel like
But-
if it had UFOs, it went somewhere.
Well, I don't want to say, but let's just say if there were, let's not say anything. I don't want to fuck anybody up. We didn't care for it very much. Let's put it that way. That one I wouldn't really recommend. It's some good style, but not a lot of substance there for me.
I want to hear
Wombat.
about Wombat's new streaming service.
Yeah. I'm
So
glad.
I got for the free year of Discovery Plus through my cell phone company provider.
Hmm.
It's the ad-free version also. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give this a shot because, as we all know, my favorite channel is the Food Network.
Yes.
And now I have access to every episode of Guy's Grocery Games whenever I want it at all times.
How many?
Even when
episodes
they
is that?
show a new episode, they simulcast it over onto the app immediately.
Yeah.
So it's literally the whole library. You know what? I don't. It's hard to say whether or not I like it or don't like it. It has a lot of pluses and a lot of minuses. The big minus is that they have all of those great nature documentaries, like all the Planet Earth stuff and the Blue Planet stuff, but none of it is in 4K. You know,
wow.
like even a brand new one.
I watched one of those on Netflix. I watched.
Yeah, and
They
it's
have
like
them on there still. At least one of them.
yeah, and it's like magical. And I'm like, I want all of those.
That looked incredible on this TV. That looked
Yeah, I
like the
bet. And
in-store
imagine-
demos that you see.
Yeah. So that's where it sort of is like a dud. Where I do like it is that it has all the garbage, like so many garbage shows on there. Like Laura and I watched like something about a Nostradamus special the other day while we were eating dinner.
What? I don't understand. Like, you have cable, so you have all these channels.
Well, I
And
like
they're just garbage
watching it-
programs to watch. In the
Yeah,
first
we
place.
watched like 4 episodes of History Factor Fiction because without commercials, those shows are literally like 35 minutes long. Even
Okay.
the hour-long shows. and there's no breaks, there's no fast forwarding, there's no pauses, and it just goes. And it's literally like brain garbage. And I kind of sometimes you want a little brain garbage in your life.
That's funny.
I mean,
I've
there
never
is
seen
some
garbage eat garbage before.
I mean, don't get me wrong. History factor fiction, you do learn things, I guess. Like how famous photographs were taken was one of the episodes we watched.
Cameras.
Yeah. See, you've seen it.
I did. Yeah.
That was funny. Good one. Yeah. So it's if you want to watch those kind of things, there's literally like 20,000 episodes. It has all the HGTV stuff. So if you want to watch Love It or List It, but you don't want it to sit through the commercials, because that also has like half that show feels like commercials, then I guess I recommend it. But just be warned, you're not going to be able to watch the really nice stuff in 4K.
I have the same phone provider that you do. And I have this is an option that I could start. I just don't even feel like starting it. Like, I feel like I've got enough streaming stuff. I don't need to have whatever this offers me.
I think for the free year, it's definitely worth it. I think you would get some enjoyment. It's you know what it is. It's like
I'm never gonna click it though. I know me. I'm not gonna ever click to that button.
It's a really good background thing. Like, you just want to put on like Dino Drivers and Dives.
I don't do that though. Like, I never have background TV on. Like, if TV is on, it's because I'm watching it. I have background music on constantly, but not background TV.
See, we're background TV people.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's really good for that. It's really good for, like, we'll be sitting there and I'll be watching. I'll flip around still. Like you said, I have cable, and I'll be sitting there and it'll be Guys Grocery Games, and it'll be an episode I haven't seen. And then I'll realize it's from 3 years ago, and I'm like, why am I watching these commercials? And I hit the button for the app and I just pop it on and watch the same episode commercial free. And that's kind of cool.
Well, I've got that life all figured out.
I do.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm sorry this is a problem for you.
It's not for me.
I think
Fine.
It is.
No.
I think it's a problem for you.
Did I
Mr. I can't play ping pong in the cold.
I thought about it, but it's not so much that I can't, it's that I'm going to be by myself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I could convince anybody else. It's not going to be a good experience playing with gloves on. Did I
think
talk
about how good you'll be when the gloves come off? Like, if you get really good playing with gloves on, when you have no gloves.
Right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, like when you see professional athletes play with like the weights on the bat.
I'm not
it's
sure.
the same concept.
I'll have
the
to think
donut.
about that. Like, I'll have really good feel once I take those gloves off.
Yeah,
really
once you take the gloves off, it'll be like, oh, whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be like, I'll be like Daredevil. Like, I'll have like heightened senses, basically.
The Matt Murdock of ping pong.
Right. Did I talk about the movie Run last week? I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know if I care either.
It's really great. I just want to throw in another recommendation for the movie Run on Hulu. It's a 90-minute thriller, indie thriller. I'm pretty sure I did. Very good. I'm still thinking about it, so you should watch that. The Dork Side of the Moon writes in and says, Chibi did me a solid by turning me on to Warrior. Never heard of it before, but now me and my wife are hooked. Badass martial arts, sex and gore, plus likable characters makes it a great show in my book. More martial arts recommendations. Strong sexual content. Yeah, it's pretty good. HBO. That's on HBO Max. I don't know if I have any other martial arts recommendations right now. Well, yeah. What's that show I watched? Enter the Badlands. We finished that. That was pretty good. That's on Netflix. There's 3 seasons of that. I think it got canceled though. But it was pretty good. Some really good fight scenes in that. Excellent.